Hi, it's Jane, and today's hashtag 50 Gone by 2024, we're going to talk about intermittent fasting. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this, but we do intermittent fasting all the time. Generally, from the time we eat our evening meal, if we don't have a snack later that evening, till we wake up and have breakfast or lunch, whichever is your first meal of the day. That's intermittent fasting. It really is. Breakfast means you're breaking your fast. Your fast is from the time you went to bed, at least, until the time you eat your first meal. But a lot of diets use intermittent fasting. They just use it in smaller increments. Now, the keto diet uses it quite differently, and that's just a whole nother subject in itself. But let's get into it. What is intermittent fasting and how does it work? Intermittent fasting is an eating plan that switches between fasting and eating on a regular schedule. Research shows that intermittent fasting is a way to manage your weight and prevent or even reverse some forms of disease. But how do you do it? And is it safe? What is intermittent fasting? Many diets focus on what to eat, but intermittent fasting is all about when you eat. With intermittent fasting, you only eat during a specific time. Fasting for a certain number of hours each day or eating just one meal a couple of days a week can help your body burn fat. And scientific evidence points to some health benefits as well. Now, medical disclaimer, you need to follow whatever your physician tells you to do, and as always, seek medical advice before following anything that I suggest here. Okay, John Hopkins neuroscientist Mark Mattson has studied intermittent fasting for 25 years. He says that our bodies have evolved to be able to go without food for many hours or even several days or longer. And really, when you think about it, prehistoric times, very different. In prehistoric times, before humans learned to farm, they were hunters and gatherers who evolved to survive and thrive for long periods without eating. They had to. It took a lot of time and energy to hunt game and gather nuts and berries. If any of you have cultivated a garden, you know it takes time to do that and prepare all the food. Even 50 years ago, it was easier to maintain a healthy weight. John Hopkins dietitian Christy Williams explains, there were no computers and TV shows turned off at 11 p.m. People stopped eating because they went to bed. Portions were much smaller, and boy were they. More people worked and played outside, and in general, got more exercise. Nowadays, TV, the internet, and other entertainment are available 24/7. Yeah. We stay awake for longer hours to catch our favorite shows, play games, and chat online, or watch the YouTube. We're sitting and snacking all day and most of the night. Extra calories and less activity can mean a higher risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and other illnesses. Scientific studies are showing that intermittent fasting may help reverse these trends. How does it work? There are several different ways to do intermittent fasting, but they're all based on choosing a regular time period to eat and fast. For instance, you might try eating only during an 8-hour period each day and fast for the remainder. Or you might choose to eat only one meal a day, 2 days a week. There are many different intermittent fasting schedules. Boy, aren't there? My son he used to, he's very different now, but he used to just eat one meal a day, and he would fast the rest of the day. Mattson says that after hours without food, the body exhausts its sugar stores and starts burning fat. He refers to this as metabolic switching. Intermittent fasting contrasts with the normal eating pattern for most Americans who eat throughout their waking hours, Matson says. If someone is eating 3 meals a day plus snacks and they're not exercising, then every time they eat, they're running on those calories and not burning their fat stores. That's how you lose weight, burning your fat stores. Intermittent fasting works by prolonging the period when your body has burned through the calories consumed during your last meal and begins burning fat. And there are quite a few different plans. But as always, medical disclaimer again, check with your physician before you even consider doing this. This may be dangerous if you're a diabetic or if you have other medical issues. So always check with your physician first. It is important to check with your doctor before starting intermittent fasting. Once you get his or her go-ahead, the actual practice is simply, you can pick a daily approach, which restricts daily eating to one 6 to 8 hour period each day. For instance, you might choose to try 16/8 fasting, eating for 8 hours and fasting for 16. Williams is a fan of the daily regimen. She says most people find it easy to stick with this pattern over a long term. Another, known as the 5-2 approach, involves eating regularly 5 days a week. For the other 2 days, you limit yourself to one 500 to 600 calorie meal. An example would be if you chose to eat normally on every day of the week except Mondays and Thursdays, which would be your 1 meal days. And I'm sorry, a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke is not 500 to 600 calories. It's more like, I think, 1,600 calories. Other periods going without food, such as 24, 36, 48, and 72-hour fasting periods, are not necessarily better for you and may be dangerous. Going too long without eating might actually encourage your body to start storing more fat in response to starvation. Matson's research shows that it can take 2 to 4 weeks before the body becomes accustomed to intermittent fasting. You might feel hungry or cranky while you're getting used to the new routine, but he observes research subjects who make it through the adjustment period tend to stick with the plan because they notice they feel better. And that is absolutely true. What can I eat while intermittent fasting? During the times when you're not eating, water and 0-calorie beverages such as black coffee and tea are permitted. I just sank. My chair just went down. And during your eating periods, eating normally does not mean going crazy. You're not likely to lose weight or get healthier if you pack your feeding times with high-calorie junk foods, supersized fried items, and treats. And we all know that. But what Williams likes about intermittent fasting is that it allows for a range of different foods to be eaten and enjoyed. We want people to be mindful and take pleasure in eating good, nutritious food, she says. She adds that eating with others and sharing the mealtime experience adds satisfaction and supports good health. Williams, like most nutritious experts, regards the Mediterranean diet as a good blueprint of what to eat. Whether you're trying intermittent fasting or not, you can hardly go wrong when you pick complex, unrefined carbohydrates, such as whole grains, leafy greens, healthy fats, and lean protein. What are the benefits? Research shows that the intermittent fasting periods do more than burn fat. Matson explains, when changes occur with this metabolic switch, it affects the body and brain. One of Matson's studies, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, revealed data about the range of health benefits associated with the practice. These include a longer life, a leaner body, and a sharper mind. Who doesn't want a sharper mind? That way you might be able to remember what you were losing, you know? Many things happen during intermittent fasting that can protect organs against chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, age-related neurodegenerative disorders, even inflammatory bowel disease, and many cancers, he says. Here are some intermittent fasting benefits research has revealed so far. Thinking and memory. Studies discovered that intermittent fasting boosts working memory in animals and verbal memory in adult humans. Heart health. Intermittent fasting improved blood pressure and resting heart rates as well as other heart-related measurements. Physical performance. Young men who fasted for 16 hours showed fat loss while maintaining muscle mass. Mice, and who doesn't love when they experiment on the mice, because it just so relates to human beings. Mice who were fed on alternate days showed better endurance in running. Who knew that mice would run and get better benefits? Diabetes and obesity. In animal studies, intermittent fasting prevented obesity, and in 6 brief studies, obese adult humans lost weight through intermittent fasting. Tissue health. In animals, intermittent fasting reduced tissue damage in surgery and improved results. Is intermittent fasting safe? Some people try intermittent fasting for weight management, and others use the method to address chronic conditions, such as irritable bowel syndrome, high cholesterol, or arthritis, but intermittent fasting isn't for everyone. Williams stresses that before you try intermittent fasting or any diet, you should check with your primary care practitioner first. Some people should steer clear of trying intermittent fasting. Children and teens under the age of 18, women who are pregnant or breastfeeding, people with diabetes or blood sugar problems, those with a history of eating disorders. But Williams says people not in these categories who can do intermittent fasting safely can continue the regimen indefinitely. It can be a lifestyle change, she says, and one with benefits. Keep in mind that intermittent fasting may have different effects on different people. Talk to your doctor if you start experiencing unusual anxiety, headaches, nausea, or other symptoms after you start intermittent fasting. Now, I will say this, for those of you that follow a keto diet, many of you know what they call the keto flu, and that is that adjustment period when your body is getting used to the new way of eating that you're eating. For many of us, it's as simple as cutting your carbs as low as possible. And, there's research that shows that it helps improve conditions such as Alzheimer's disease, arthritis, asthma, multiple sclerosis, and stroke. But it is important to note that intermittent fasting can have unpleasant side effects, but they usually go away within a month. Some of those side effects are hunger, fatigue, insomnia, nausea, and headaches. Intermittent fasting is safe for many people, but not for everyone. Okay. As always, you should always check with your physician before you start any kind of intermittent fasting. My physician is okay with the 16-8, where you have the 8 hours period that you're eating. And generally, I just do 3 meals a day. Sometimes I only do 2 meals a day. And with my diabetes, so far, it is working. I've not had any issues. But my doctor is fully aware of what's going on. I send her my blood sugar logs every 2 weeks so that she can see what's going on, so that she can titrate any of the insulin that I'm taking or anything else. But as always, I have talked with my physician about this, and it's a-okay. Alright guys, that's it for the 50 Gone by 2024. But I do want to add this. Last night, Jerry and I went to a concert given by Jimmy Kimmett. For those of you who don't know Jimmy Kimmett, he is a Scottish singer who lives in the U.S. now. About a year ago, he was in a severe accident where his car rolled 7 times and was hit by a semi. He was transferred, life-flighted, and in an ICU, but he had no broken bones, mostly contusions. But he has a great testimony about how he gave his life to Christ, and he's a Christian singer. And all of his concerts are done acoustic, and they're fantastic. Not only that, but he is funny as all get out. So if you ever get a chance to see him in person, go see. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll have a great time, and you'll hear some beautiful music. He has a beautiful singing voice. His state is manager, Lorna, also has her own story, testimony, which is amazing. So if you ever get a chance to see them in person, go do it. At one point, he had the lights turned out completely, with the exception of those on the stage. We held up our cell phones with the flashlights on and sang "This Little Light of Mine." It was a lot of fun. Now, I am going to leave a link down below to one of my favorite songs by Jimmy Kimmett. So I hope you'll go give it a listen. It's a beautiful song, and you've probably heard it a lot on Christian radio. So with that, be kind to one another, love yourself, and as always, get out there and see this big, beautiful world. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.